Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our first online English lesson. We will start with a new unit, and our topic might sound a little bit strange. First question, I want you to take a piece of paper. New headline is Unit 4. First question, first headline, what's a screenager? I want you to write down your ideas. And I'll give you a little tip. It has two parts. The first part is a screen. And the second part, oh, that's you. It's a teenager. So if you combine a screen with a teenager, you get a screenager. So what do you think is typical of a screenager? Whenever you see this sign, I want you to pause and stop. Stop the video and write down what you think. What's typical of a screenager? So, have you written it down? Good, because then I want you to have a look at your book. You can do it like the old way. So you can open your books on page 82, or you can stay at the screen and read the text on the screen, whatever you feel more comfortable with. We have a couple of new words, but I'm pretty sure that you know those words already. So the first new word is digital, and you all know the word digital because right now we are having digital lessons, and all the material that you get is digital. You don't get the paper. You can't touch the worksheets. You all get it on the screen. That means it's not really real. You can't touch it. It's all online, on the internet, electronic, and not paper, not real. Next word, average. And I'm pretty sure that you know this word as well. Average is, when we write a class test, I always write a sign on the board. Let me show it to you. And it looks like that. And then I say, yeah, the average of the class test was 3.1 or 3.2 or something like that. And in our tests, the average are normally like 4 point something, which I'm not happy about. So the average is if you take many things and you add them up like plus, 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 and then you divide it into the number of parts you have, and then you get the average. So next word, multitask. Women always say, I'm able to multitasking. That means you do more than one thing at the same time. So for example, you cook and you listen to a podcast. I mean, men, they are able to multitask as well because they can breathe and do one more thing at the same time. I'm just kidding. You all know this word, video chat, because we have done it today and we've done it, I think, 3 weeks ago or something like that. So video chat with a hyphen means you don't just talk, so you see each other as well online. Attraction, more or less the same as in German. We know that. And we've talked about pros and cons. So pros is always that and cons is that. So pro is a plus, con is a minus. I like, I don't like, good, bad, something like that. So this is our text. What do I want you to do? I want you to have a look at the text, so you can either go back and read it on the screen online, or you open your books on page 82, and I want you to finish the sentences. Make sure that the sentences are grammatically correct. So the average American teenager, that's a plural. I'm sorry, I just got lost. So the average American teenager makes sure that this sentence makes sense. You can't say the average American teenagers spend. You have to say spends or chats or something like that. So make sure it's grammatically correct, it makes sense, and take the information from the text. And I guess you have figured that out. Pause and stop. Before we check our answers, make sure singular, singular, plural, plural. He, she, it, das, es muss mit. He, she, it, das, es muss mit. Plural, plural. No S. Okay? So are you ready for the solutions? If not, pause. Solutions. The average American teenager spends 8.5 hours per day in front of a screen. That's ridiculous. Imagine that. And I think, especially during Corona times, I think we matched this time. I mean, 8.5 hours, that's pretty, to me it sounds realistic. Second question, the average British teenager spends less, about 7 hours per day. Just a little reminder, you know that adjectives like American, British, that has like words that have to do with countries are always spelled with capital letters. Question number 3, about 60% of teenagers watch at least 20 hours of TV per week. Imagine what you could do in this time, like 20 hours of sports, 20 hours of learning maths or English or whatever. Last question, about 94% of teenagers have social media accounts. So if you take 100 kids at your age, 94 of them have Instagram or Facebook or, I don't know, Snapchat, TikTok, something like that. Alrighty, next slide. Go back to the text again, read the text carefully and write down sentences. I want you to write complete sentences. What are the digital gadgets mentioned in the text? Explain what multitasking means in the text. Give some examples for digital technology. And most teens feel the pressure to do as their friends. Do you agree? Yes or no? I want you to write these questions down, write down the answers, and send a picture of those questions via WhatsApp, please. If you're done with that, we go on with this picture, and you can see 13 different statements. I want you to read through the statements, and I want you to decide whether you agree or disagree. For example, I'm often online at night, so I go to sleep quite late. Is that true for you? Or do you disagree? I know that some of you have to hand in their cell phone when they go to bed. So you could say, I disagree with this statement because I have to hand in my cell phone when I go to bed, or I have to hand in my cell phone at 10 o'clock at night or something like that. Or If I get a message, I stop doing my homework to answer it. I totally agree with this because, and I hope you have noticed that, if you send a message to me via WhatsApp, I normally reply within like, I would say less than half an hour. So take one after another and say I agree because, or I disagree because. When you're done with that, and of course I want you to send this to me. And yes, you can send one picture, like when you're done with everything, you have one page, you take a picture, you send it to me. Don't send like each and every task. All right, almost done. Now I want you to make a table. It's also in the book. It's in the book on page 83, exercise 2. So this is a table, and I want you to sort all the statements, all the 13 statements into this table, like pros and cons of being a screenager. Like what is good about it and what is not so good about it. So when we go back, I'll give you an example. The good thing, I think that's a pretty good thing. Like if you're a screenager and if you're comfortable with digital technology, you can help your mom, you can help your dad, you can sometimes help your teacher, which is really good, in my opinion. Not so good is, in my opinion, statement 11. Like, I don't go out very often to meet my friends in real life, so I don't think that's good. So have a look at all the statements and decide whether they are good or bad and write them in the table. And then I want you to find maybe 2 or 3 more for each column. Maybe you have some more statements, what is good about, what is bad about. Think about them. That's the solution. So do this and then look at the solution, of course. So pause and then solutions. So what is good about being a screenager? You do lots of things at the same time, of course. I mean, you can listen to a podcast and cook. That's what I do most of the time. You can send messages to friends, to pupils, to teachers. Surf the net, watch videos, chat with friends or teachers. Share information with friends or teachers. Do homeschooling during coronavirus crisis. I don't know if that's good or bad. I'd like to go to school, to be honest. Get information fast. That's like my most important point. I mean, it's so easy to get information, to look up words on the internet. If you don't know the name of an animal or something that you can't remember, you just Google it and there it is. You can connect to people all over the world, which is great. Downfalls, not so good. That's a big point. Like, if you take your cell phone to bed with you, you probably won't get enough sleep because you see it. Like, even if your eyes are closed and there's a message that pops up, we tend to take the phone and look, although we are supposed to sleep. And we can become addicted to it. So some of you said when we talked about phones, when you do your homework, you flip it over so you don't see the light that's flashing when you get a new message. You work out less. You waste time just scrolling through Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, whatever. Forget about homework or not meeting friends in real life, which is, I mean, right now it's good that you don't meet your friends in real life, but in normal times, I think this is really bad. Alrighty, last screen for today. I want you to answer those questions. First question, are you a screenager? Maybe you can take your phone, because I know that Instagram has it, and I think Facebook has it as well, that you can check the hours you are online. Like for Instagram, I know that you can check like how long have I been on Instagram today. And I think you can even do like a weekly average or something. So if you can't do that, you can estimate like how long are you awake? Do you always have your phone with you? What do you think? How long are you like online doing stuff on your phone? And what do you personally think about the digital world of teenagers today? Do you like that? Do you not like it? Do you think it's good? Do you think it's bad? And I think 100 words. So all in all, this is like 70 minutes, I believe, like one lesson plus homework. So if it takes you more than that, tell me. If you're done in like 10 minutes, you haven't clicked on pause. You have just copied the solutions. So give me a feedback if this was okay for you. Please tell me what I can do better. And yeah, be safe, be good. I'll see and hear you at the end of the week, I guess. Bye bye.